Hello, welcome to this episode of Low Carb in the Leaves with me, Dr. Mary Barson. This week we are discussing movement, and I am calling it movement as distinct from exercise because it really is regular movement that protects us against the harmful effects of a sedentary lifestyle rather than short, sharp bursts of exercise. And short, sharp bursts of exercise a few times a week are really good for you, good for your mental well-being, good for your physical well-being, but they don't really necessarily counteract the harms of sitting down. So, I'm sure I'm not telling you anything you don't already know, but we are learning more and more about the harmful effects of spending large parts of our day sitting. And it really is the modern epidemic at the moment. We sit at work, we sit in our cars, we get home and we sit on the couch and we just sit. Whereas our ancestors, back if we're looking at health through an ancestral lens, which I think is a very sensible thing to do, our ancestors would have had to expend quite a lot of energy in foraging and hunting for food just day to day. We are designed to move. And if I'm brutally honest with you, this actually is something that I struggle with more than probably any other health parameter is movement and exercise. I really have to exert effort. I can, particularly if I'm already stressed, I can find that the whole day has gone by and the only movement I've done is getting up between patients, walking down the hall and calling in a new patient, which is admittedly better than just sitting at my desk. So, the fact that I have to see a new person every 20 minutes and get up and find them is benefit. But I really do feel better, and I know that I am improving my health and reducing my risk factors when I make more effort to incorporate movement into my day. So the problem with sitting for a long time, well, there's lots of problems. It does decrease our ability to burn fat. Exercise per se actually doesn't have a huge role in fat loss and weight loss. I mentioned yesterday that it's not about calories. It has a small role, but it's not a huge role. When we're dealing with fat loss, it does really come down to what you eat and when you eat, more so than how much you move your body. But it does have a supporting role in weight loss, which I think is still important. In particular, if you sit for a long time, it really decreases the activity of this enzyme called lipoprotein lipase, which helps us burn fat. So sitting for a long period of time can really prevent us from burning the body fat that we may want to. It also decreases our bone mineral density, which can increase the risk of osteoporosis and of fractures. Increases our blood pressure. Just sitting increases blood pressure, increases inflammation. And there's a whole new field of human physiology called sedentary physiology, which is a distinct discipline to another field of human physiology, exercise physiology. So the physiology of being sedentary is really important and really different to the physiology of being active. Also, I think I mentioned yesterday that increased sitting also can thin areas of the brain. You can literally lose your brain, particularly regions that are associated with memory. And I mentioned that short, sharp bursts of exercise aren't necessarily the cure. And it has been shown that people who sit for 6 hours a day or more, but then will do, say, 30 minutes exercise, intense exercise 3 times a week, they're not actually managing to negate the harmful effects of all that sitting. So sitting for a long period of time and then doing some exercise at the end of the day doesn't completely erase all the negative health effects of that sitting. But interestingly, what does is just getting up a little bit during the day and moving. Excuse me. Getting up, doing a stretch, getting up, walking around, doing some resistance training in your office, just even, some wall push-ups or some squats. These things actually make a significant difference to your physiology and to your risk of chronic disease, of cancer, of dementia and early death. So how do you do it? How do you incorporate more movement into your life? It's like any other habit. It's very doable. We're not saying that you need to do an intense workout every 10 minutes, but something every 20 minutes, every 30 minutes, if you just get up out of your chair and do something, you are really going to improve your health, as well as doing some more dedicated exercise at other times, which is also a good idea. So I'd love to hear your ideas, guys. What do you do, or what do you think you could do to incorporate more movement into your day? So when I'm being conscious, what I do is every time I get up to do a new patient, I actually do some wall push-ups, just some press-ups against the wall, or I do a few squats. That helps. And for me, that's good because about every 20 minutes or so, I do get up to grab a new patient. So that's helpful. If I'm at home and I'm just working on my computer, then I will set an alarm. Every half hour it goes off and I have to get up. I've recently invested in a very low-tech standing desk, which is great. So I'll work standing up. I'm currently working up towards being able to stand up all the time, or at least half the time. But I'm not quite there yet. I just need to sort of build up my strength a bit more. Surprisingly difficult working standing up. Walking to work, riding to work, or part of the way is a really good, it's an oldie but a goodie. Having walking breaks instead of sitting down and having a cup of tea. Could you take your cup of tea for a walk, or quickly drink your cup of tea and then go for a walk? Standing up in meetings. This is good. I've been doing this lately. And if your co-workers think you're weird, you can just say, oh, just got a bit of a sore back. That's why I'm just going to stand up while we chat, if that's okay. That are my tips and tricks about getting more movement into your work day. There are, you could invest in standing desks. You could invest in treadmill desks. There's lots of different things you could do. But I'm sure there are lots of low-tech options. And the main thing is just doing it. Making a commitment, setting that alarm and giving it a go, because it's not hard. We're really not talking about, having to do an intense high interval training in your office between clients. All right, guys, movement is good for you. Movement is necessary. Have a fabulous day and enjoy the joy of movement. And I'll see you again tomorrow, and we will just continue this discussion on movement, its benefits, and how to incorporate more of it into your day. See ya.